This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network. We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Coopers Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James, serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Put your money in motion. Drive VMW, VM Wealth Management. Transform your everyday.
The time by VM Wealth Management is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Thursday, July 17, 2025. NWC warns that water lock-offs are coming amid drought conditions being experienced across the island. The Westmoreland Police names a pastor as a person of interest in the case involving the death and mummification of an elderly woman. Here, the Children's Cry says the case involving a father raping and trafficking his underage daughter and stepdaughter is a new low. In regional news, St. Vincent and Antigua demand a share of overflight fees collected by Trinidad and Tobago. In international news, U.S. Senate passes $9 billion spending cuts to foreign aid and public broadcasting. In sports, renovated National Stadium to seat 37,500 when redevelopment work is completed in the 2027-28 financial year. And in business, Kingston Wharves announces purchase of 27% of Cargo Handlers Limited. The details after the break.
I use the Radar app to help source my seeds and also my seedlings.
Me run my farm as a business, so I use the app for weather forecast and crop planning.
When we need me extension officer, I just book a visit on the app. Quick time she reach.
We check pest alert every morning. Me now make her mash up my ground.
Real farmers, real support, real easy. Farm Radar and Farm Smarter. Get the mobile app on Android and iOS.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Brace for water lock-offs. That's the warning from Acting President of the National Water Commission, NWC, Garth Jackson, amid island-wide drought conditions brought on by recent rainfall levels that are below the 30-year average.
We are into the dry season. We did not get the rainfall that we usually expect in the May period. And so, the main impoundment levels are below what it was last year. However, we have done some significant improvements to the resilience of our system. And with the early attention to the contingency measures, we expect to be able to mitigate the impact on our customers. But we have to caution them that, yes, there's going to be some restrictions in the next few days, starting in the next few days.
The government is allocating $350 million towards drought mitigation efforts. $250 million will be managed by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. From that amount, $150 million will be directed towards water trucking operations through members of Parliament. Another $50 million will go towards purchasing water storage tanks to support vulnerable communities. And $50 million will be allocated to the NWC for trucking water to support critical infrastructure. Jackson says the NWC has already taken mitigation measures to deal with the situation in the corporate area.
Our water level today at Hermitage, it was at 241 million gallons per day, which is about just over 61% of our capacity. Those levels are falling at roughly 1% per day, and so we have to make the transition there. The transition in terms of operating regimes. In terms of Mona, the water level there is about 393 million gallons out of the capacity 800 million gallons, so it's at about 49% of capacity. That also is falling at about 1% per day, and that is what we intend to do by the measures we're putting in place to reduce the rate of fall and therefore to ensure that we can continue supplies through the dry period until the rains come later on in the year.
Garth Jackson, acting president of the NWC, speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Principal Director of the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, the Met Service, Evan Thompson, says the parish of St. James is now feeling the brunt of the drought conditions.
What we're seeing now is probably a little bit worse than we experienced last year. The year before that, probably things were worse. So it's not the worst that we have seen at this time of the year. We have had more intense drought periods. And in fact, the main parish that is experiencing drought right now is St. James, but the eastern half of the island is also seeing some amount of dryness. We're seeing some areas experiencing severe dryness, some abnormal dryness, so it's different levels of dryness, but not exactly experiencing drought conditions at this time. But because we're not expecting a significant improvement in the short term, we just have to be prepared for the worsening of the situation for the next few weeks.
Evan Thompson, a Principal Director of the Met Service, speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday. Now, Minister with responsibility for climate change, Matthew Samuda, says Jamaica is nearing the completion of a climate adaptation plan aimed at tackling the threats brought on by rising global temperatures.
The reality is the changing climate was targeted for expected temperature rise of 1.5 degrees. There are some scientists who say we have already breached that point. So national adaptation plans will have to keep pace with the climatic realities. Jamaica is nearing completion and is doing its final review of its national adaptation plan. Now that contemplates that because of the changing climate and because of the shifting weather patterns, some things have to be done, meaning you have to climate-proof your agriculture. You have to use what we call JSTRAT, which is the Jamaica Systemic Risk Assessment Tool, to evaluate all of your infrastructure. So something like roads have to be moved inland because of saltwater damage to those roads.
Minister Samuda, who is also Minister with responsibility for water, made the revelation at Wednesday's post-cabinet media briefing at the office of the Prime Minister. He says the government is undertaking multiple projects to shore up the resilience of the water sector.
In the water sector in particular, you have to out-invest to protect the resources that you have, being very clear that you may have reduced resources at that stage. And one of the major things that we have to do, or certainly two major things that we have to do, is one, stop wasting it by pumping it into the ground with old leaking pipes, which will significantly reduce our demand nationally, even while you expect economic expansion because of the policies of the government. And secondly, you have to significantly increase your storage. It is the government's intention to expand the Hermitage facility. We do intend to build a second dam at the Mona facility. But beyond that, the Prime Minister has already articulated a vision that will see a pumped hydro system, which would see a massive dam being built, likely in Clarendon.
Matthew Samuda, Minister with responsibility for climate change and water. The Westmoreland Police have named a person of interest in the bizarre case concerning the death and mummification of an elderly woman whose remains were discovered in a house in Old Hope, Little London on July 6. The deceased has been identified as Viola Destin, a senior citizen who is believed to have died in December 2023. The person of interest is Delroy Jones, a Jamaican pastor reportedly living in Colorado in the United States. Nationwide News previously reported the involvement of a clergyman in the case. So far, 2 women have been charged. 54-year-old Gina Robinson is facing multiple charges, including concealment of a corpse, preventing lawful burial, and perverting the course of justice. 49-year-old Laverne Wedderburn has been charged with conspiracy. A new low. That's how the director of Hear the Children's Cry, Nigel Cooper, has described the court case involving a father who pleaded guilty to raping and trafficking his underage daughter and stepdaughter over several years. The man, a taxi driver, was sentenced to more than 3 decades in prison when he appeared in the Home Circuit Court on Tuesday. He was also convicted of raping another child, his neighbor, around the same time. He pleaded guilty on February 14 this year. Cooper says he's shocked by the heinous nature of the crimes.
Total disbelief, total shock. This is a new law. A parent would be involved in such multiple heinous acts against their own child and other children. It's repulsive, and we stand against any such type of behavior in Jamaica. It shows then how, sad to say, how people in society, society are thinking that they could carry out these acts and think that it is normal, that it's okay. It's unexplainable and unexcusable, and we really are concerned about the children that he impacted. They're probably older now, but they would still be impacted, and we hope that they'll seek counseling to help to overcome this traumatic experience that they would have been involved in.
The combined sentences for the crimes against all 3 girls total just over 100 years, but the sentences will run concurrently. This means the taxi driver will serve only the longest single sentence of 33 years and 8 months before becoming eligible for parole. The allegations include claims that he transported the girls to a friend who had sex with them while he, the father, watched. In one instance, the complainant said her father and his friend took turns sexually abusing her. Cooper is questioning why no other men have been arrested or charged in connection with the case. He also believes the father's sentence should have been longer.
We are dismayed. We are grateful that the courts have acted, but we would hope that he would get a longer sentence, that it wouldn't be concurrent, that he would never have the possibility of seeing the road again in the rest of his lifetime. But it is what it is. Those other perpetrators who were involved back then, that they be brought to justice, the other persons who did these acts to them.
Nigel Cooper, director of Hear the Children's Cry. Now, the majority of child trafficking cases in Jamaica indicate that perpetrators are well known to the young victims. That's the word from Director of Children and Family Programs at the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, Dr. Warren Thompson.
The majority of cases are children who are exploited by people they know, not necessarily by strangers who lure them and catfish them or use other means of recruiting them, but people who are connected to them in some way, a family friend, a family member, someone who their parents work with, whatever the case may be. But sexual grooming, we use it to speak in general to any action that a person may engage in to try to get a child to engage in a sexual relationship with them. And I speak to grooming because I believe the majority of our cases involving children are actually sex trafficking cases.
Dr. Thompson was speaking at a child trafficking forum hosted by Serenity Resource Connector on Tuesday. He says many parents involved in child trafficking cases are complicit in the actions of the perpetrators.
Our sexual grooming legislation is very, very specific. You have to show that a person would have made an attempt or would have communicated with a child on at least 2 occasions and then made an attempt to travel to meet with that child for the purpose of having sex to prove that sexual grooming occurred. That's in law. But generally speaking, there are people who may give children gifts or give the parents gifts, treat them very nicely. And the aim of doing all of that is so that the child can eventually have a sexual relationship with them. We see that happening from time to time. We have seen cases with parents who have been complicit in their children's exploitation. They benefit, they get gifts, they get grocery, they get food, they get money, and encourage the children to engage in sexual relationships with others.
Dr. Warren Thompson, Director of Children and Family Programs at the CPFSA. Jamaica's democracy is stuck in a destructive cycle where citizens reject policies and progress simply because they do not support the party proposing them. That's according to Prime Minister and GLP leader Dr. Andrew Holness. He was speaking at the handing over ceremony of 93 buses at the Portmore St. Catherine depot of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company on Wednesday.
The nature of our politics and our democracy is that if you don't support the political party that is doing it, the idea can never make sense. And Jamaica needs to move past this and look at the ideas, look at the implementation, look at the execution, but more importantly, Jamaica needs to become a results-oriented society that rewards the people who produce and deliver the results.
Dr. Holness was referring to the continued opposition by the PNP and some Jamaicans to the rollout of the government's rural school bus program. The PNP has also criticized the government for trying to mask its failures in office through a surge in groundbreaking ceremonies for major projects during an election year. Dr. Holness dismissed the heightened activities as mere coincidence.
In a democracy, governments must work towards elections. And one would think that if governments do the correct things, make the right decisions, and deliver, then they should be rewarded in elections. I mean, is that the logic? So this notion of because you're doing it for election, you shouldn't be rewarded, don't make sense. You want your governments to perform so that you can judge them on their performance in an election. But the idea is a little bit more refined than that. The idea is, why are you doing it just now? Why you didn't do it before? It is coming to fruition in elections. That's just coincidental. This is your government working day and night for years to put these things in place, and they are just materializing in front of you now.
Dr. Andrew Holness, Prime Minister and GLP leader. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
Be in the know. Learn how local government is working for you. Follow us on Instagram and X at LocalGovJA and on Facebook at Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. The time by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development is
6:16.
Are you looking to drive sales and build brand visibility this summer? Be a vendor at the Nationwide 90 FM Back to School Fair on Saturday, August 9 at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. Families from St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth will be out in full force. And you should be too. Call us at 876-630-1210. Or email sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com to secure your spot. Let's put your brand where it matters, on the ground.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news, the Republic of Suriname inaugurated its 10th president, Jennifer Girlings Simmons, on Wednesday. She is the first female to hold the position. The swearing-in took place in a packed hall at the Anthony Nesty Stadium during an extraordinary meeting of the National Assembly. Outgoing President Shan Santoki handed over the presidential sash and signed the proclamation of transfer. The Speaker of the National Assembly then formally declared Simmons president. Vice President-elect Gregory Rusland was also installed on Wednesday. International, the U.S. Senate has approved Donald Trump's plan to gut funding for foreign aid and public broadcasting. The Senate voted 51 to 48 in favor of the request to cut $9 billion in spending. It has handed the Republican president another victory as he exerts control over Congress with little opposition. The legislation, which now moves to the House, would have a tiny impact on the nation's rising debt, but could have major ramifications for the targeted spending from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to U.S. food aid programs abroad. It also could complicate efforts to pass additional spending bills this year, as Democrats and even some Republicans have argued they are ceding congressional spending powers to Trump with a little idea of how the White House Office of Management and Budget would apply the cuts. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
Taxi drivers, ready to start earning more money? Join Amber on Time, Jamaica's taxi app built just for you. 0 commission in the first month, no catch. Plus get a free vehicle tracker to protect you and your ride. Stolen vehicle recovery and panic alarm response included. Download the Amber Captain app today and start driving. Or roll through to our office at 30 Westminster Road, Kingston and sign up on the spot. So whether you're at Kingston, Mobay, Ochi or anywhere else, work there. Come take advantage.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
How are this
For
on my
more
TV?
information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here ya,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently? But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor fi go check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deepfake?
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait, I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Time now for your morning sports. The National Stadium will have a seating capacity of 37,500 and will be 90% covered when the redevelopment work is completed in 2027-28. This was revealed at a press conference at the Sports Ministry on Wednesday, where the media was given an update on how the project is proceeding. Work is set to start next year and last for 3 years, during which time the facility will remain partially open for special events to include boys and girls champs, but on a scaled-down basis. The new stadium will also accommodate 50,000 patrons for events such as concerts and will have all the trappings of a modern facility. It will be outfitted with elevators, 30 new state-of-the-art VIP boxes, a fan boulevard, and fan zones. The stadium will also have a 9-lane track to make it World Athletics compliant. There will also be a built-in mixed zone and a 300% increase in parking. There will be a new tier parking facility across the road from the existing stadium parking lot. Jonathan Sebecher, principal at Ryder Architecture, says the stadium will be comparable to the best in the world.
We're looking at a world-class stadium with a raft of world-class facilities, and that takes time. Quality takes time. This will be best in class. It's befitting of a stadium anywhere else in the world. We need to invest that time to make sure we design it properly, make sure we meet and surpass everyone's needs and expectations, and make sure it's built in accordance with all the rules and to the quality that we expect.
He also explained the rationale behind a 90% covered stadium as opposed to a fully covered one.
It's the limiting factor of retaining the existing stand. So the existing stand at Independence Park is, culturally iconic in terms of its design. It's protected from a planning perspective, and it would be wrong to knock that down. But the limitations of that current stand, if anyone's been to the stadium, will know that it doesn't cover all of the seats in that area, and that's the only part of the stadium that's uncovered.
Jamaica's women will go in hunt of their third win in 5 starts when they take on Windward Islands in the West Indies Rising Stars Under-19 Championships at Diego Martin Complex on Thursday. The Jamaicans are third on the 6-team table with 10 points after 2 wins and a loss, while 1 game was abandoned due to rain. Meanwhile, the Windwards, who are on 2 points, sit at the foot of the table after 3 defeats. Over at the National Cricket Centre, 4th place Trinidad and Tobago meet 5th place Guyana, and Leeward Islands and Barbados will meet in a top-of-the-table clash at the Sir Frank Worrell Stadium. Former Cricket West Indies director Baldath Mahabir has dismissed the latest statement by CWI President Dr. Kishore Shallow as a charade and a political gimmickry, accusing the board of using public relations tactics to distract from systemic failures in West Indies cricket. In a strong reaction to Dr. Shallow's call for unity following West Indies' defeat to Australia in the final test at Sabina Park, Mahabir questioned the value of convening an emergency meeting of the Cricket Strategy and Officiating Committee and inviting legends such as Sir Vivian Richards, Brian Lara and Sir Clive Lloyd to join the discussions. Mahabir says calling big names won't clean up the problems of West Indies cricket because they are systemic. Meanwhile, former West Indies pacer Tony Gray says real change will require more than emotional appeals and meetings with legends. And that's it for your morning sports.
Calling all businesses. Nationwide 90 FM's Back to School Fair is heading to Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay on Saturday, August 9. And your brand should be there. With families from St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth expected to attend, it's the perfect chance to connect directly with Back to School shoppers. Contact us at sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com or call 876-630-1210 to book your vendor space today.
In business this morning, Kingston Wharves Limited, KWL, has announced its purchase of 27% of Cargo Handlers Limited, CHL. In a statement on Tuesday, KWL says the block purchase was of shares owned by Jane Frey, who was a founding partner of CHL, along with Tony Hart and the Hart family, who remain major shareholders in the company. CHL has for over 40 years specialized in stevedoring, construction inputs, and containerized cargo, as well as baggage handling and provisioning for cruise vessels at the Port of Montego Bay. CHL also holds strategic investments in logistics and distribution interests that use the cargo handling services of the Port of Montego Bay. Samsung boss Lee Jae-young has been cleared by South Korea's top court of fraud charges, concluding a years-long legal battle over his role in a 2015 merger deal. Lee, the grandson of Samsung's founder and the de facto head of the company since 2014, had been accused of using stock and accounting fraud to try to gain control of the firm. In its final verdict, the Supreme Court in Seoul upheld a not guilty verdict after Lee was acquitted of all charges in 2 earlier trials. The case drew widespread scrutiny of the technology giant as the country grapples with corporate corruption scandals involving its powerful family-run conglomerates. Now, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced that the country will restrict tariff-free import of cheap foreign steel to help domestic manufacturers reeling from levies imposed by the U.S. Speaking at a news conference in Ontario, Carney also pledged to diversify its trading partners away from the U.S. and prioritize the use of Canadian steel. The announcement comes in the wake of punitive tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump, first a 25% levy on Canadian steel in March, later doubling it to 50% in June. On Tuesday, Carney raised the possibility that U.S. tariffs may remain in place even after a bilateral agreement. And in foreign exchange trading this morning, the Jamaican dollar has lost 1 cent and will open trading today, selling for an average $161.27 against the benchmark U.S. dollar. The Jamaican has gained 88 cents and will open selling for an average $117.21 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican has lost $1.29 and will begin trading for an average $216.02 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
6:30.
Since 1995, we've been your go-to source for everything related to billiards, amusement machines, and electronics. With locations at 1A Lindsay Terrace, Kingston 10, and the Village Plaza, Big Bridge, Savannah, Lamar, we offer top-quality pool table parts and accessories, cutting-edge gaming machines, and more. We also specialize in assembly, sales, and service of amusement machines. We provide unmatched customer service, expert solutions, and products tailored to your needs. Who are we? We are Eclipse Enterprise. Telephone 876-960-3891.
Now, PrEP makes it so easy. 1 pill before you link, prevent HIV.
PrEP makes it so easy. 1 pill before you link, prevent HIV.
You want to do your thing with your queen or your king?
Or I get a little frisky that make you flex frisky.
PrEP, are you extra bucketed?
To help you stay HIV negative.
PrEP makes it so easy. 1 pill before you link, prevent HIV. PrEP tablets available at your clinic from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Traveling along, there's a song that we're singing. Come on, get happy, yeah. Oh, come on, get happy, yeah. Come on, get happy, yeah. Come on, get happy. We'll make you happy, yeah. We'll make you happy. We'll make you happy. We'll make you happy. Don't you know? We'll make you happy. Yeah. We'll make you happy. We'll make you happy. Yeah.
Our word.
We'll make you happy.
Glory, hallelujah. Hallowed be thy name. Oh, Most High God. Glory be to the Most High God. Hallowed be thy name. King of kings and Lord of lords, worthy to be praised. I ascribe to you dominion, power and grace. Through all the years and years to come, you'll always be the same. It's me again, Jah, as I fall on my knees today. Help me, God, I pray. Don't wanna be carried away. It's me again, Jah, as I fall on my knees today. Help me, God, I pray. Preserve my soul today. I look around the world today, oh God, and you will see Pharisees and backbiters taking up in vanity. But I know you control my destiny, and from you all blessings flow. From yesterday, even today, and tomorrow, it's me again, Jah, as I fall on my knees today. Help me, God, I pray. Don't wanna be carried away. It's me again, Jah, as I fall on my knees today. Help me, God, I pray. Preserve my soul today. Glory, hallelujah. Bless my soul, oh Jah. Oh, Most High God. Say glory be to the Most High God. Hallowed be thy name. The King of kings and Lord of lords, worthy to be praised. I'll ascribe to you dominion.
A very good morning to you. Good morning to you. You're tuned in to Nationwide this morning, NTM. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us this Thursday morning. It is Thursday, July 17, 2025. Happy to have all of you. Good morning to our YouTubers or peeps out there in Radio Land as usual, joining us on the 90.3, 0.5, 0.9 band, as well as our peeps in the app. And our friends joining us from the Nationwide website, nationwideradiojm.com. Good morning to you as well. Happy Thursday. I'm Tana Thomas.
I'm Sandra Roden. It's a good morning to be alive, Tana, and I'm excited to be here. It feels like I haven't been here a whole week. Oh, wait, I haven't been here a whole week. I was supposed to say. But it's good to see you all in the chat. I see, a number of you saying good morning. Nadine Dockery. I see Villa. I see Shanique. I see Ryder 40. Kingsley Clark. Rick NYCJM. Janesta Johnson. Good morning to you all. It is good to see you. It is good that you all are on. And of course, you're listening to Nationwide this morning. Yeah, the big show.
Yeah, I remember somebody thinking Nationwide is on your side. Was something we owned.
You could see the similarities.
We did take it. We did use it, but it's not originally from NNN.
Yeah.
I think it's related to what? An insurance company in the United States?
Yes.
But Nationwide is on your side. Yeah. We're on your side.
Yeah. Well, Tana, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. This morning, what's on my mind is that we have seen numbers over the years, and I think some point in the past, probably 2 years ago, I was very critical when I heard some forces who should have known better question numbers that were released by an institute called the Statistical Institute of Jamaica. Now, recently, Statin looked at the figures again. They did their reviews, and it was time again for them to release those numbers. The number I want to focus on this morning is 3.3%. 3.3%. What does 3.3% mean? Some may ask. Is that the new tax rate? No, it's not. Is that a number that is insignificant? No, it's not. Is that a number that you have to look at now if you're looking at the economy and wonder if it is a number you will have to use? Yes, it indeed is. 3.3% is the record new unemployment numbers. It's low. It's going down or coming down, from 3.5%. That is 0.2% coming down. And when you look at the figures and how it's calculated, a lot of people would have had questions based on how it was calculated, meaning the hours worked per week, etc., because there are new international standards now for computing and looking at what the unemployment numbers are. But 3.3% is good news. 3.3% is great news, because that says that we are solving one problem that we've had for a while, and that is job creation. So jobs are being built out in our society, and that's good. Now, why this number matters is because last evening I went to my mechanic, Tana. And I went to my mechanic. He was saying to me that, it's Mr. Clark. So I'll give you his number if you want to know my mechanic. He's really good. And he was saying to me that he wants to do some expansion so that he can get more work in. And I was like, so, what's holding you back? And he's saying, I have the space, I'm in a shorter work, but I don't have the people with a skill set. He's saying to me, point blank period, that he, as a man in a trade, Tana, he has the work, meaning he has an overflow of clients that will come to him. And the problem he's having is not being able to get people that can come and work with him. Him say as a second, him not have people as a second. That's what he was saying to me. And when he laid out his plans, his futuristic plans for what exactly he would want to do, he said he's going to need people, but we don't have the people. And it's the same thing coming from Mr. Mahfood, who said yesterday that we might need to look at importing some Haitians to do some of the work because we don't have enough people to work. The businesses, huge businesses, large businesses, they are crying out about not having enough people to work. And small businesses like my mechanic, he's saying the same thing to me. He's saying he also has customers that, are in business. There was a truck there when I went, and he's like, that man's a contractor. And that man is telling me that he is having the same problem. So I hear the concerns from some people who talk about underemployment, but this is where I congratulate the Solidarity Program, because a lot of people had question marks, etc. around that, but that should help to solve some of those issues for underemployment, people who are outside the formal sector, bringing them in. Now, that's one thing, that's one good thing, but the fact of the matter is that it's 3.3%. That's record low. And if you go out in the market, if you are Aitana, go out probably on an OB one day at a business forum, and you can ask any business person who would, have enough revenue and stuff to hire people, what is it like in your hiring process? No. Is it easy to go out and find a person? And my mechanic said to me, listen, you see, any of them youth here we know want work, them just don't want work. There's nothing I can do as a man that's looking for somebody at this point, because them just don't want to work because the opportunities are there. He's saying in order for him to grow his business, he would need 2 more people. And he's not easily finding 2 more people. Do I think there's more to be done? Yes. But do I think we've come a far way and we're at a good place? Yes. Because 3.3% in any context, once the numbers are right, and I think they are, 3.3% represents, Tana, a very good day in Jamaica land we love, when we can see that more persons are employed. And that is something that we need to congratulate, celebrate, and work on ensuring that the young people who need to go to Heart, get them to Heart to learn a skill, because Heart is now free up to level 4. Now, all those other people in the sectors that don't know where the jobs are and you know how to find them, I'm talking to my listeners now, help them to find those jobs, because they are there. If you look in the Gleaner every week, if you go to the online sites, you're seeing jobs after jobs after jobs after jobs being advertised. Get them in the system, because that is something that will help them for their own upliftment and their own empowerment. As I said, men lie, women lie, but numbers, they don't lie. And that's what's on my mind.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is...
It's 6:45.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is...
It's 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and 23 degrees Celsius down in Mandeville.
And vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Short-sightedness, the inability to see well in the distance, is on the rise and is affecting millions of children worldwide, increasing their risk of serious eye conditions later in life. At IQ Optical, we're proud to lead the fight against short-sightedness with revolutionary Maya Smart therapeutic lenses, specifically designed for young eyes. This month only, your child can receive a free second pair of our revolutionary lenses. Help protect your child's vision today. Visit IQ Optical, where clarity never looked sharper.
When you hear those horns, you know what time it is. It's time for Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Good morning to you, Ludlow.
Morning time, Sanjay. Morning time, Tona.
Morning time to you, Ludlow.
All right, our listeners, viewers, motoring public. It's a beautiful morning. Why I say that? It's cool and cloudy. Yes, some dark clouds above, and no immediate threat of rainfall. But there you go. The roadways. I'm thinking about Kingston 5 here now. When you go through Kingston 5 in respect of Lady Musgrave Road, but they're going up towards Ligony, or East King's Road are going down towards Wolof Road, and then going down into the crossroads area. The going is pretty good. Oxford Road,
Oxford Road onto Knutsford Boulevard, free flowing. Knutsford Boulevard, no problems in both directions. If you're on Holborn Road, making it onto Chelsea, then onto Half a Tree, you can go ahead. It's pretty good going also. When you get up into the Half a Tree area, that's where you're going to find it a bit busy, but you can still move through Half a Tree. So if you're on Constantine Road heading southbound, it's good vehicular movement going through and then onto Half a Tree Road. Hope Road is the safe thing, going all the way down to Hagley Park. Well, coming up to South Oden Avenue, you can make your way, but it's building all the time. And no doubt after this report, you'll have more traffic flowing. And just remember, the reason why things are so smooth sailing is that schools are out, and it makes a big difference at this time. But later, it builds. All right, so until 7:18, 7:20, it's back to Andre in the studios.
All right, thank you, Ludlow.
Your word of the day is spelt Gainsay, spelt Gainsay.
Gainsay. Gainsay. Gainsay.
Gainsay is your word of the day. Gainsay, it's a verb, and it means to deny, dispute, or contradict, or to speak or act against, to oppose. Gainsay is your word of the day. The definition again, to deny, dispute, or contradict, to speak or act against or oppose. Dictionary.com is telling us that the word gainsay, first recorded between 1250 and 1300, first recorded between 1250 and 1300. Gainsay is your word of the day. To use gainsay in some sentences this morning, there can be no gainsaying that Boeing has been in a bad way at least since 2018, the last year in which the company booked an annual profit. There can be no gainsaying that Boeing has been in a bad way at least since 2018. You can't dispute that one. The last year in which the company booked an annual profit. Some others for you. There's no gainsaying the hunger of many in the crowd at Chicago's United Center and of Democrats across the country to see Trump behind bars. Some other sentences using the word gainsay. Everyone who believes it is legit will find some way to gainsay the believers. None could gainsay her. These revisionists could not, of course, ultimately gainsay the fact that France was defeated. Gainsay is your word of the day. I can see how you guys could use this one readily in your conversations. Gainsay, to deny, dispute, or contradict, or to speak or act against or oppose. Yeah. So if you don't want to say, I'm disputing that, I'm denying that, I'm opposing that, I'm contradicting what you're saying, you can say, I'm gainsaying.
Yeah.
Gainsaying.
I hope nobody is gainsaying the numbers this morning.
That is a perfect way to use gainsay this morning. Quite timely. Gainsay. Gainsay. A very old word, first recorded between 1250 and 1300. Dictionary.com is telling us this morning. Gainsay. Up next, your features. At the top of the hour, we'll have the news.
Last time in Coming of Age, we spoke about natural remedies to treat the symptoms of menopause. Today, we're continuing that focus. The symptoms of menopause can be quite annoying, from the mood swings, irritability, to the hot flashes. Hormonal changes during menopause can cause bones to weaken, increasing the risk of osteoporosis. Naturopath, medical doctor, and YouTuber Dr. Gus Landivar says calcium and vitamin D are linked to good bone health.
Eat foods that are high in calcium, vitamin D, and anti-inflammatory substances. If you don't know this yet, you should, because hormone changes during menopause can cause bone weakness, joints to hurt, and increase the risk of bone fractures and arthritis. This is why it's always a good idea to increase your consumption of foods that contain calcium, vitamin D, and turmeric. Calcium and vitamin D are linked to good bone health, and turmeric are linked to decreased inflammations in the body and joints, which can become very common during menopause. Foods that are a rich source of calcium include dairy, yogurt, milk, cheese, etc., leafy green vegetables such as kale, spinach, and others that provide lots of calcium. And when it comes to vitamin D, for example, sunlight is your best and main source of vitamin D. And the last one, very common and very effective, turmeric. Consuming curcumin or turmeric can reduce inflammation all around the body, making it easier for you to tolerate hormone changes, treat joint pain, and help your body reduce inflammation.
Menopausal women have an increased risk in heart disease. Dr. Gus says regular exercise may help reduce this risk.
Exercise is a very important part of your health at every single point in your life. Don't forget that exercise plays a very important role in hormone regulation, in your sleep, and in your mood. Participating in regular exercise, if possible every single day, does indeed improve energy and metabolism, improves bone and joint health, helps reduce stress, and promotes a better sleep at night. For example, one study found that exercising 3 hours per week for 1 year improved physical, mental health, and overall improved the quality of life of a group of menopausal women that were going through this phase. And not only that, because regular exercise is also associated with a better health and protection against other diseases and conditions that are much more common during menopause and after this phase. Some of these are cancer, heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and osteoporosis.
Dr. Gus Landivar, naturopath, medical doctor, and YouTuber. It is also recommended that menopausal women should reduce their intake of refined carbs and sugar. A diet high in refined carbs and sugar can cause sharp rises and dips in blood sugar, making you feel tired and irritable. This may worsen the physical and mental symptoms of menopause. That's it for Coming of Age.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
Do not let the first impression you make about yourself be your personal scent preferences. Should you wear whatever perfume you want to work without a care in the world? Well, let's find out. I'm Tana and I've got you covered. It's time for your lifestyle pages. Avoid wearing perfume and heavily scented products in all business settings. You might like them, but they have no place in a business environment. Scents can trigger asthma, overpower a room, and are often more offensive than pleasing to others. Try as much as possible to wear scents that aren't overpowering. It doesn't hurt to select a mild perfume from the store for work only, and when you do, try to stick with it. You probably already know that many business places are smoke-free, but some are now going scent-free. If you're not sure, ask your human resource representative if there are any unique requirements about the workplace dress code. And speaking of a smoke-free environment, never smell like smoke. If you smoke in a car, your clothing will always pick up the odor when going for a job interview. A strong smell may distract the person interviewing you from focusing on your skills if all they can think about is how you smell. So, next time you enter a perfume shop, remember to select something mild, just for work. Until next time, I'm Tana, and that was your Lifestyle Pages.
The Bureau of Standards Jamaica plays a pivotal role as facilitator of local industries, providing
News on the go. The latest stories from Jamaica and around the world are literally a finger tap away. Keep up to date with Teen Revolution 24 hours a day online via nationwideradiojm.com. Listen live, read the latest stories, hear every soundbite. Be a part of the vibrant online debate via Facebook and Twitter. Now you can get all your favorite premium Nationwide content at your convenience. Visit the Android Play Store and download it for free today. NationwideRadioJM.com. All day, every day. Team Revolution. Nationwide 90 FM is an affordable medium to advertise your business. Increase your sales with Nationwide's reasonably priced advertising packages customized to suit your pocket. Contact our sales department today at 630-1210 or 630-1216. That's 630-1210 or 630-1216. Nationwide 90 FM. Smart advertising, value for your money.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston or Bay. The temperature by National Supply is
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 today, Thursday, July 17, 2025, NWC warns of water lock-offs amid drought conditions being experienced across the island. The Westmoreland Police name a US-based pastor as a person of interest in the case of a mummified elderly woman. Children's Advocacy Group expresses disgust with news of father's rape and the trafficking of underage daughter and stepdaughter, while in international news, US Senate approves $9 billion spending cut to foreign aid and public broadcasting.
News at 7 is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Brace for water lock-offs. That's the warning from Acting President of the National Water Commission, NWC, Garth Jackson, amid island-wide drought conditions brought on by recent rainfall levels that are below the 30-year average.
We are into the dry season. We did not get the rainfall that we usually expect in the May period. And so, the main impoundment levels are below what it was last year. However, we have done some significant improvements to the resilience of our system. And with the early attention to the contingency measures, we expect to be able to mitigate the impact on our customers. But we have to caution them that, yes, there's going to be some restrictions in the next few days, starting in the next few days.
The government is allocating $350 million towards drought mitigation efforts. $250 million will be managed by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. From that amount, $150 million will be directed towards water trucking operations through members of parliament. Another $50 million will go towards purchasing water storage tanks to support vulnerable communities. And $50 million will be allocated to the NWC for trucking water to support critical infrastructure. Jackson says NWC has already taken mitigation measures to deal with the situation in the corporate area.
Our water level today at Hermitage, it was at 241 million gallons per day, which is about just over 61% of our capacity. Those levels are falling at roughly 1% per day. And so we have to make the transition there. The transition in terms of operating regimes. In terms of Mona, the water level there is about 393 million gallons out of the capacity 800 million gallons. So it's at about 49% of capacity. That also is falling at about 1% per day. And that is what we intend to do by the measures we're putting in place to reduce the rate of fall and therefore to ensure that we can continue supplies through the dry period until the rains come later on in the year.
Garth Jackson, acting president of the NWC, speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Principal Director of the Met Service, Evan Thompson says the parish of St. James is now feeling the brunt of drought conditions.
What we're seeing now is probably a little bit worse than we experienced last year. The year before that, probably things were worse. So it's not the worst that we have seen at this time of the year. We have had more intense drought periods. And in fact, the main parish that is experiencing drought right now is St. James, but the eastern half of the island is also seeing some amount of dryness. We're seeing some areas experiencing severe dryness, some abnormal dryness, so it's different levels of dryness, but not exactly experiencing drought conditions at this time. But because we're not expecting a significant improvement in the short term, we just have to be prepared for the worsening of the situation for the next few weeks.
Evan Thompson, Principal Director of the Met Service, speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday. The Minister with responsibility for climate change, Matthew Samuda, says Jamaica is nearing the completion of a climate adaptation plan aimed at tackling threats brought on by rising global temperatures.
The reality is the changing climate was targeted for expected temperature rise of 1.5 degrees. There are some scientists who say we have already breached that point. So national adaptation plans will have to keep pace with the climatic realities. Jamaica is nearing completion and is doing its final review of its national adaptation plan. Now that contemplates that because of the changing climate and because of the shifting weather patterns, some things have to be done, meaning you have to climate-proof your agriculture. You have to use what we call JSTRAT, which is the Jamaica Systemic Risk Assessment Tool, to evaluate all of your infrastructure. So something like roads have to be moved inland because of saltwater damage to those roads.
Minister Samuda, who's also the Minister in charge of water, made the revelation at Wednesday's post-cabinet media briefing at the office of the Prime Minister. He says the government is undertaking multiple projects to shore up the resilience of the water sector.
In the water sector in particular, you have to out-invest to protect the resources that you have, being very clear that you may have reduced resources at that stage. And one of the major things that we have to do, or certainly two major things that we have to do, is one, stop wasting it by pumping it into the ground with old leaking pipes, which will significantly reduce our demand nationally, even while you expect economic expansion because of the policies of the government. And secondly, you have to significantly increase your storage. It is the government's intention to expand the Hermitage facility. We do intend to build a second dam at the Mona facility. But beyond that, the Prime Minister has already articulated a vision that will see a pumped hydro system, which would see a massive dam being built, likely in Clarendon.
Matthew Samuda, Minister with responsibility for climate change and water. The Westmoreland Police have named a person of interest in the bizarre case concerning the death and mummification of an elderly woman whose remains were discovered in a house in Old Hope, Little London on July 6. The deceased has been identified as Viola Destin, who is believed to have died in December 2023. She was 72. The person of interest is Delroy Jones, a Jamaican pastor reportedly living in Colorado in the United States. Nationwide News previously reported the involvement of a clergyman in the case, and so far 2 women have been charged. 54-year-old Gina Robinson is facing multiple charges, including concealment of a corpse, preventing the lawful burial of a corpse, and perverting the course of justice. 49-year-old Laverne Wedderburn has been charged with conspiracy. A new low. That's how Director of Hear the Children's Cry Nigel Cooper has described the court case involving a father who pleaded guilty to raping and trafficking his underage daughter and stepdaughter over several years. The man, a taxi operator, was sentenced to more than 3 decades in prison when he appeared in the Home Circuit Court on Tuesday. He was also convicted of raping another child, his neighbor, around at the same time. He pleaded guilty on February 14 this year. Cooper says he's shocked.
Total disbelief, total shock. This is a new law. A parent would be involved in such multiple heinous acts against their own child and other children. It's repulsive, and we stand against any such type of behavior in Jamaica. It shows then how, sad to say, how people in society, society are thinking that they could carry out these acts and think that it is normal, that it's okay. It's unexplainable and unexcusable, and we really are concerned about the children that he impacted. They're probably older now, but they would still be impacted, and we'll hope that they'll seek counseling to help to overcome this traumatic experience that they would have been involved in.
The combined sentences for the crimes against all three girls total just over 100 years, but the sentences will run concurrently. This means the taxi driver will serve only the longest single sentence of 33 years and 8 months before becoming eligible for parole. The allegations include claims he transported the girls to a friend who had sex with them while he, the father, watched. In one instance, the complainant said her father and his friend took turns sexually abusing her. Cooper is questioning why no other men have been arrested or charged in connection with the case. He also believes the father's sentence should have been longer.
We are dismayed. We are grateful that the courts have acted, but we would hope that he would get a longer sentence, that it would be concurrent, that he would never have the possibility of seeing the road again in the rest of his lifetime. But it is what it is. Those other perpetrators who were involved back then, that they be brought to justice, the other persons who did these acts to them.
Nigel Cooper, director of Hear the Children's Cry. The majority of child trafficking cases in Jamaica indicate that perpetrators are well known to their young victims. That's the word from Director of Children and Family Programs at the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, Dr. Warren Thompson.
The majority of cases are children who are exploited by people they know, not necessarily by people strangers who lure them and catfish them or use other means of recruiting them, but people who are connected to them in some way, a family friend, a family member, someone who their parents work with, whatever the case may be. But sexual grooming, we use it to speak in general to any action that a person may engage in to try to get a child to engage in a sexual relationship with them. And I speak to grooming because I believe the majority of our cases involving children are actually sex trafficking cases.
Dr. Thompson was speaking at a child trafficking forum put on by Seniority Resource Connector on Tuesday. He says many parents involved in child trafficking cases are complicit in the actions of the perpetrators.
Our sexual grooming legislation is very, very specific. You have to show that a person would have made an attempt or would have communicated with that child on at least 2 occasions and then made an attempt to travel to meet with that child for the purpose of having sex to prove that sexual grooming occurred. That's in law. But generally speaking, there are people who may give children gifts or give the parents gifts, treat them very nicely. And the aim of doing all of that is so that the child can eventually have a sexual relationship with them. We see that happening from time to time. We have seen cases with parents who have been complicit in their children's exploitation. They benefit, they get gifts, they get grocery, they get food, they get money, and encourage the children to engage in sexual relationships with others.
Dr. Warren Thompson, Director of Children and Family Programs at CPFSA. Jamaica's democracy is stuck in a destructive cycle where citizens reject policies and progress simply because they do not support the party proposing them. That's according to the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness. He was speaking at the handing over ceremony for 93 buses at the Portmore St. Catherine Depot of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company on Wednesday.
The nature of our politics and our democracy is that if you don't support the political party that is doing it, the idea can never make sense. And Jamaica needs to move past this and look at the ideas, look at the implementation, look at the execution, but more importantly, Jamaica needs to become a results-oriented society that rewards the people who produce and deliver the results.
Dr. Holness was referring to the continued opposition by the PNP and some Jamaicans to the rollout of the government's rural school bus program. The PNP have also criticized the government for trying to mask its failures in office through a surge in groundbreaking ceremonies for major projects during this election year. Dr. Holness dismissed the concern about the heightened activities and says, look, it's mere coincidence.
In a democracy, governments must work towards elections. And one would think that if governments do the correct things, make the right decisions, and deliver, then they should be rewarded in elections. I mean, is that the logic? So this notion of because you're doing it for election, you shouldn't be rewarded, don't make sense. You want your governments to perform so that you can judge them on their performance in an election. But the idea is a little bit more refined than that. The idea is why are you doing it just now? Why you didn't do it before? It is coming to fruition in elections. That's just coincidental. This is your government working day and night for years to put these things in place, and they are just materializing in front of you now.
Dr. Andrew Holness, Prime Minister and JLP leader. An increasing number of Jamaicans rely on remittances to supplement their earnings. That's according to the most recent Jamaica Chamber of Commerce Business and Consumer Confidence Survey for the second quarter of the calendar year. The survey was done by Don Anderson's Market Research Services Limited. Colicia Wright tells us more.
As part of President Donald Trump's self-styled Big Beautiful Bill, a 1% tax on remittances leaving the United States has now been signed into law. Despite being reduced from the initially proposed 5% tax, pundits and economists almost unanimously agree this will hurt people from countries such as Jamaica, which rely heavily on this as a means to pay for day-to-day necessities. According to noted pollster Don Anderson, that's a growing category of people in the country.
The data now confirms that remittances play a significant role in ensuring that people can meet their daily household expenditure. But what we've found is that year to date, after 2 quarters, 31% of the households are now receiving remittances, coming back up to the peak of 36% in 2018. So 31%, and it's a pretty noticeable jump from 28% in 2024. That's the year accumulated to 25 year to date. That's 31%, representing a 3% increase in the number of households that are receiving remittances. Right?
Mr. Anderson also noted that this benefit from remittances is not limited to any particular socio-economic group.
We have established that a wide cross-section of households. It's not just limited to households in the lower socio-economic group, but households in the high and middle and high socio-economic categories. We can see that 22% of households in the upper category receive remittances, as against, of course, 41% in the low category and 37% in the middle. And in the high, middle, and high, it's 22%. But it's right across the socioeconomic profile of the country, remittances are being received within households.
The data also revealed that nearly 50% of remittance beneficiaries receive that benefit every 3 months or less.
34% of the households that we interviewed receive remittances once per month. This is up 1% on the first quarter. 7% receive every 2 months. 6% every 3 months. So when you accumulate that, we have just about close to 50% of the households that receive remittances at least once every 3 months. That's a good flow. As we can see, 6% receive funds when they're available from the senders.
Colicia Wright for Nationwide News.
Overseas news now. The U.S. Senate has approved Donald Trump's plan to gut funding for foreign aid and public broadcasting. The Senate voted 51 to 48 in favor of the request to cut $9 billion in spending. It has handed the Republican president another victory as he exerts control over Congress with little opposition. The legislation, which now moves to the House, would have a tiny impact on the nation's rising debt, but could have major ramifications for the targeted spending from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to U.S. food aid programs abroad. It could also complicate efforts to pass additional spending bills this year, as Democrats and even some Republicans have argued they are ceding congressional spending powers to Trump with little idea of how the White House Office of Management and Budget would apply the cuts. That's the news.
News at 7 was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:18.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Outaris, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Are you burning up with this summer heat? The place hot, man. Get cool now with a Hisense air conditioner. I feel good. With advanced energy-saving inverter technology and whisper quiet operation, beat this heat with Hisense. Available at Aliabra Brands Limited, 64 Hagley Park Road, or call 876-676-5951 now.
So good, so good. I got you.
Stay cool and save energy with the perfect ceiling fan for every room at prices you'll love. At Active Home Center, we've got fans to fit every space and every budget. From affordable options to premium designs with energy-efficient DC motors. Whether it's your bedroom, living room, or patio, there's a fan for every corner of your home. Hurry in for deep discounts on select fans while stocks last. Shop fans at Active Home Center in Kingston and Montego Bay. Active Home Center, more savings, more choices.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George. Morning to our listeners again and our visitors and all our transport operators, stakeholders, land, air, sea. Good morning. It's another bright morning. It was hazy this morning. Now it's bright and sunny. Still clouds above. And roadways are not too bad. Yes, we see some vehicles heading up Maxfield Avenue from Spanish Town Road into Hertfordshire. It's more busy in that particular as you approach South Oden Avenue. But coming down, it's not too bad at this moment. But let's see what happens on Hertfordshire Road. Hertfordshire Road is also smooth sailing as they make your way down towards Chelsea Avenue and also Oxford Road. It's not too bad coming up Malines Road either, heading into Hertfordshire, Wood Glen, Malines, and then going across the Hagley into the Richmond Park community. It's good in Richmond Park Avenue, Montgomery Avenue, Queens Avenue. All these areas are good. Lyndhurst Road, not bad either. All these roads leading up into the crossroads here are not bad. Beechwood Avenue, yes, free flowing in both directions. Okay, so you don't have much of a problem. I think you'll have much more traffic as the morning progresses, maybe as it leads up to maybe about 8 o'clock, thereabout. But so far, so good on a Thursday morning. But don't forget, you'll always have traffic on the Mandela. You know, Mandela carries a lot of traffic. So on that eastbound leg towards 6-5, you will have traffic. Also on Washington Boulevard, there will be some traffic. But I would say it's fair and you won't have any gridlock situation at the moment, but that can change later as the morning progresses. So until tomorrow morning, same time, as usual, we say at Street Smart, your safety is our concern. George, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow there with...
Anything on the debacle?
Ludlow, you love provoke me soul in the morning. Where are man?
All right, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, Ludlow there with Street Smarts 2. Let's go to the front page now. Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
We're back with It's Nationwide this morning, and we are turning our attention in
the front page on the $350 million drought mitigation plans. The government has allocated $350 million to mitigate the impact of this dry period. Minister with responsibility for water, Minister Matthew Samuda, advised that $150 million will be used for trucking of water and will be directed through members of parliament. For more, we're joined by the Minister with responsibility for water and a number of other things, including climate change, Minister Matthew Samuda. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning to you and good morning to listeners.
Good having you on this morning. So we'd want you at first, Minister, to elaborate on how the funding will be distributed across the island and how exactly will it be monitored to ensure those who are most in need when it comes on to drought are getting or feeling the effects of this funding.
Well, firstly, I'd like to make the point that normally this conversation that we're having now in the summer, a February and March discussion.
Yeah.
So even though we have had, as Mr. Thompson would have presented yesterday at PostCab, significantly less rainfall, certainly April, May, June, and it's not like you had a particularly wet March or February either. It is on the back of the work that we have been doing that has allowed us several months without having to put in place these measures. But to your earlier question, the money is allocated in a manner to ensure that those who are most in need are indeed those who get the support. And how have we analyzed where's most in need? Well, firstly, we've looked at the rainfall and the Water Resources Authority data. And what we've seen is that it is mainly the surface water systems that are most impacted, meaning systems that pull water from streams, etc., as opposed to well water systems. So we've done an analysis with the Ministry of Local Government and the SDC, etc., to determine exactly which communities were worst affected. And in that space, we have allocated according to MPs based on those systems. And that data is, can be made available if anyone wants to see it. But generally what we've done, we implemented a new trucking policy 2 years ago, where we do have a secondary layer of the SDC who does random checks with communities that truckers say that they have trucked to confirm that persons in the area have indeed received the water. Trucking is, and I'll say this to your listeners, trucking is something I never want to discuss, right? Because it's the most inefficient and expensive way of distributing water, and it really is in emergency circumstances that we take it on. It's not something you really want to be doing. But generally that layer with the SDC doing random checks, we believe has brought some accountability and transparency to the system. It's also important to note that certainly for the 24 trucks that the NWC owns, within its own fleet, truckers are on that, and we are in procurement for an additional 8 as we continue to bolster our fleet to be able to have emergency response. But $150 million will go into trucking for households and critical infrastructure. That will be directed through members of parliament. Up to $50 million will be there for budget support for the NWC for critical infrastructure. We're thankful that, at current stage, the schools are out. So that takes some pressure off and allows us to focus on infirmaries and hospitals and police stations and, other public infrastructure through the NWC with their direct trucking at this stage. And then there is the element where we may have to put in some wayside tanks as well as allow for purchases of black tanks in communities that are really, really struggling. That carries you to the 250. The additional $100 million will be directed through the Ministry of Agriculture, and that will be focused primarily on trucking to farmers, as well as purchase of grass and seeds. And I will allow Minister Green to go into more detail on that particular part of the allocation.
I know that earlier this year as well, Minister, there was a black tank program. What was it, about 10,000 black tanks? Are all of those distributed?
We are at about 7,200 out of the 10,000 allocation that was made. We don't import tanks in Jamaica. They're actually locally manufactured, and it's actually a very slow manufacturing process because of how they're made. So I think we're at about 7,200 in terms of distribution. We do expect that to be complete in the next month or so.
And what will be the process? Because you mentioned the allocation in this funding, these $350 for more black tanks as well. What's the timeline on that, and what's the process that the government will use in terms of determining who should get one?
Well, that process would be based on your proximity to stream-based systems and the availability of tanks with local suppliers. Meaning when the government ran the 10,000 tank program, it pulled stock from manufacturers directly. This 50 million would contemplate purchases from local hardwares where there is an area assessed to have a particular shortage. So the tanks would have to be provided to an area that the WRA says there's lower stream flow, that the local Ministry of Local Government has said we're having particular challenges in this area because it would really be for municipal systems. As such, there are 18 to 20 vulnerable households without storage, and we'd go in and make that intervention.
The Met Service yesterday had indicated that the rainfall levels, as you are indicating today now, are below the 30-year average. I wanted to ask how this is impacting, for example, the NWC's planning, their operations, as well as the National Irrigation Commission.
So the NWC would have also shared with you, in addition to Evan sharing the rainfall data, the impact on two major systems.
Yes.
Hermitage was at approximately 65%, I believe, and Mona Reservoir was at about 50%. Now, a lot of persons don't understand the issue of cross-subsidy in water systems, meaning Kingston and St. Andrew is such a big customer base that a lot of the operations for the rest of the country is subsidized by the bills paid in Kingston and St. Andrew. So when you have to regulate supply in Kingston and St. Andrew, it has a terrible ripple effect right through the system at the Water Commission because it's such a stable customer base. So it triggers financial issues, which then triggers planning issues and can affect some of the projects that you have underway. However, to note, drought is budgeted in the NWC because drought is nothing new in this space. Mm-hmm. It is one of the reasons why we pursued so vigorously, and I'm happy that the project is in the construction phase now. So it's not a project that may come that's being discussed as a possibility, that the Rio Cobre water treatment plant is already under construction. So in 2 years, we wouldn't be having this discussion related to, well, less than 2 years at this point, we wouldn't be having this discussion related to Kingston and St. Andrew, Portmore, or Spanish Town with that treatment plant.
Hold for us there, Minister. We're going for a break, then we'll be right back with you.
So we're not taking a break. You can complete your point, Minister, before I move on to another matter having to do with water.
No, just to note, with a project such as the Rio Cobre water treatment plant and with some of the non-revenue water work taking place in Spanish Town, in Portmore, in Kingston and St. Andrew, where we're cutting leaks and targeting, line losses of only 20%, down from 70% 10 years ago. We believe that you'll see a level of water resilience, certainly in the old capital of Spanish Town, all the way to southern St. Andrew, that we haven't experienced certainly in our lifetime.
So when it comes on to the non-revenue water project, Minister, we've heard about it, the implementation phases in Portmore, and we know there's one for Kingston and St. Andrew as well. What's the progress on the one in Portmore, which would have seen some remarkable numbers so far, and what do we expect for Kingston and St. Andrew as well?
Well, Portmore's line losses are at approximately 40%. Coming down from 71, which also has facilitated a 45% reduction in energy usage because you're not pumping as much water into the ground in the way that you would have. Similarly, in Kingston would have been at around 68-70% and has come down to 38%. And this was a part of the government's pilot project. And a pilot project, yes, people say was a pilot project for 10 years. It really was. And that has facilitated a design for a national non-revenue water project where we have the support of the World Bank water team. Was helped us to design that project, and we've gone through the first phase of international tender and done the pre-qualification of bidders. We're into the second phase now. We expect to close that procurement later this year and have a consultant and engineering firm, or consultants and engineering firms, depending on how the evaluation comes up, for the entire country, which will then sign another 10-year partnership seeking to bring down areas that have particularly high levels of NRW, like Hanover, like Maypen, like Old Harbour, down from the 70 that, Kingston and Spanish Town and Portmore used to face, down to the 38, and certainly for Kingston and St. Andrew and Portmore and Spanish Town and your more populous areas, bring from 38 down to the 20, which is consistent with some boroughs in New York.
Yeah, which would be international standards. But Minister, we did a project like this before in the past. We did a full non-revenue water project, but then, we went right back to where we were as it relates to the numbers. What systems?
When did you do a full NRW project?
Well,
I'm not aware of that.
Well, yeah, we have some examples of NRW in Jamaica like 20 years ago or so, and we went back based on not having the information or being transferred to what we have now. So what mitigation processes will be in place to ensure that we never go back to the numbers that we have?
So I assure you that projects done at that stage would not be anything reflective or consistent with the projects that we're undertaking. No, these have the benefits of technology and flow monitors and digitizing the network in a way that technology wouldn't have even been available to benefit from knowledge transfer. So I'm not quite familiar with which project you're referring to, but what we're undertaking with NRW now has never been undertaken in Jamaica's history. And there is a component for training, and there's a component for knowledge share, and we're even looking at international training for our engineers and our monitoring teams in Jamaica. If you go into the control room, as they have it now for Portmore, they can literally tell you based on the difference in pressure and the difference in flow, you're likely to have a leak in this general area. No, that's not technology that would have been available 20 years ago. And beyond that, 20 years ago, if you contemplate and you go back through the books of the NWC and the overall fiscal position of the country, it's not something they could have contemplated. They wouldn't have had the fiscal space to do so. So this is a completely new day for water transformation. It's just that we do have 2 to 5 more years before you see the sort of changes that make you totally drought resilient in many of your townships. But to Kingston, St. Andrew, Portmore, Spanish Town, you're 2 years away. For other townships, you're 2 to 5 years away, depending on which area you're in.
And in the context of what we're talking about this morning, Minister, droughts, the $22 billion in capital investments that's currently underway now in the sector, how will these projects in the long term safeguard Jamaica from future droughts?
Well, these projects are a mix of relaying of pipes, which does function to reduce your non-revenue water also. And obviously every line loss that is reduced protects you because you're not wasting the critical resource that you have in the way that we do now. If one contemplates, imagine if we weren't losing 38% of our water in Kingston and St. Andrew, then the dam levels would obviously be higher, even at this stage. So we'd be having this conversation maybe in another 6 weeks or 8 weeks. So the reality is we can't determine what our water availability will be because you don't know how exactly climate change will affect you. There are varying models, some that are extreme, some that are not as extreme, right? You don't have control over what your water availability will be, but you do have control over how you use that resource. And we certainly cannot continue as a country to pump that resource into the ground, to be using hard-earned money from Jamaicans who pay their water rates, to pay high electricity bills, to pump that water through leaking pipes into the ground without it going to their pipes. So we have to control, we have to invest in a manner that allows us to control how we use this critical resource.
Minister, there's a question in our chat on YouTube asking about an update on the reservoir in Beverly in St. Ann.
Beverly in St. Ann. I'll check and see where that project is and what is the state.
All right.
St. Ann does have a number of systems which are impacted by the drought, and it is certainly in the hills of St. Ann is indeed reeling from the need for additional distribution.
And I'm guessing the water trucks would be very critical in those areas.
Absolutely. And why the state has to intervene in purchasing additional water trucks is because there are some areas where it simply will not be lucrative enough for private sector to get into the space because the cost of distribution is too high.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you, Minister. Thank you for joining us. It's always good to hear your insight and updates when it comes on to water-related issues.
Thank you.
All right, we're going for a break, and we'll be right back with you.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is...
It's 7:37.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice in the electrical business.
This July, the world turns to Jamaica
for the Caribbean Investment Forum, the region's premier investment event.
From July 29 to 31, the Montego Bay Convention Center comes alive
with global thought leaders, exclusive investment opportunities, high-impact deal-making sessions.
Are you ready to invest in the Caribbean's future? Book now at CaribbeanInvestmentForum.com.
Let's shape a smart, green, connected Caribbean. July 29 to 31, Montego Bay. Powered by Caribbean Export, Government of Jamaica, Jampro, EU, CARICOM, Republic Bank, and IDB.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Now, turning our attention to the latest developments in relation to the death and mummification of an elderly woman whose remains were discovered in a house in Old Hope in Little London in Westmoreland. For you this morning, we'll provide a chronology before getting to the latest updates on this matter that seems as if every couple of hours there is some new information that is being discovered, unearthed about the discovery of Viola Destin. Now, the Westmoreland police have named a person of interest in the bizarre case concerning the death and mummification of an elderly woman whose remains were discovered in a house in Old Hope, Little London on July 6. The deceased has been identified as Viola Destin, who is believed to have died in December 2023. The person of interest is Delroy Jones, a Jamaican pastor reportedly living in Colorado in the United States. Nationwide News previously reported the involvement of a clergyman in the case. So far, 2 women have been charged. 54-year-old Gina Robinson is facing multiple charges, including concealment of a corpse, preventing lawful burial, and perverting the course of justice. 49-year-old Laverne Wedderburn has been charged with a conspiracy. Now, where did this story start?
Well, the story first came to light on July 7th. NNN reported the police are probing the death of an elderly woman whose body was found in a mummified state nearly 2 years after she died. The woman, Viola Destin, died in December 2023. However, Miss Destin's body was found on Sunday, July 6, at her home in Old Hope District in Little London, Westmoreland. Her age and date of birth are yet to be confirmed. Reports from the lawmen are that Miss Destin died on Tuesday, December 10th, 2023. But instead of reporting the death, Miss Destin's live-in caregiver, 54-year-old Gina Robinson, concealed the body inside a room at the house.
A relative of Miss Destin summoned the police on Sunday after becoming suspicious. The elderly woman's mummified remains were found lying on a mattress on the ground. The scene was processed and the body removed to the morgue. The caregiver at the time was facing charges of failure to report the death of a person, preventing the lawful burial of a corpse, and attempting to pervert the course of justice. You'll recall that, unfortunately, the picture of Miss Destin was circulating on social media. As we reported here, she was seen on a mattress in the back of a house. And at the time, persons were raising questions, Sandra, about is this really what happened? And we did have on someone from a funeral home who was indicating that based on how Miss Destin was seen, it's clear that some level of embalming took place because she was in a quite preserved state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because after having died 2 years ago, under natural circumstances, you would expect that there would be skeletal remains instead of a mummified state, which is what was seen in the picture that was circulating on social media. And it was indicated in that story, as we're seeing here, that a relative of Miss Destin had found her body and alerted the police about the matter. Then on July 11, a grandniece of Viola Destin says her family was devastated and heartbroken after learning the elderly woman's mummified remains were discovered at that house in Westmoreland nearly 2 years after she reportedly died. The horrific discovery was made on Sunday, July 6, in Old Hope District in the parish. A grandniece of Miss Destin told our news center that the family had lost contact with the elderly woman. Let's hear this report from Robian Williams.
Viola Destin, who was in her 70s, was last believed to be alive in December 2023. Her mummified remains were found clad in a house dress on a covered mattress inside her room at her home in Old Hope, Little London, last Sunday. The woman's alleged caregiver, 54-year-old Gina Robinson, has since been arrested and is facing several charges. The elderly woman's grandniece says the family first heard rumors of her death approximately a year ago. This, she says, prompted her family to search hospitals and funeral homes, all without confirmation. The grandniece says, "For me never take it that she's dead. We took it more as a rumor. It is not like we did not care, because I see persons saying that we did not care or whatever. We did search." She adds, "You have the person there for 2 years. We can't happy." The grandniece further explains that her grand-aunt had previously resided with varying family members due to her mental state. However, she says the family remains unsure how Miss Destin ended up in the care of Robinson, who is now at the center of an ongoing police investigation. The accused caregiver reportedly lived at the property where the body was found and allegedly conducted spiritual practices there. Robinson is facing charges of failure to report a death, preventing the lawful burial of a corpse, and attempting to pervert the course of justice. The exact circumstances surrounding Destin's death are still being investigated. Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
So that was the information that we had up to July 11 on this matter. And then yesterday, a major twist came on the story, and we're going to take that after the break.
Burn Shack fried chicken always ready. Burn Shack original crispy. Burn Shack Cajun spicy. Burn Shack a barbecue. Burn Shack we are go Burn Shack.
The time brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Ocho Rios is...
It's 7:46.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius out west in Montego Bay, and 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
You want to win? Then just bet. Bet on the game, no stress, no sweat. And win big in the Wanna Bet Just Bet promotion. Spend $1,500 or more on one Just Bet ticket and complete the entry form at promotions.supremegames.com for your chance to win. Third place gets Beats by Dre. Second place gets an iPhone 15 and AirPods Pro. And first place gets a 65-inch TV and a soundbar. Promotion runs May 16 to July 20, 2025. Grand draw July 25, 2025. Authorized under Section 58. Of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Why rush around town for back to school shopping? Nationwide 90 FM is making it easy at our back to school fair. Come get your child measured for uniforms, check their shoe size, and purchase essentials right there on the spot. St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, St. Elizabeth. We've got everything in one place just for you. That's Saturday, August 9, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. The Nationwide 90 FM Back to School Fair.
We're back with you. It's Nationwide this morning. We are going through the chronology of the report, of course, of the death of Viola Destin in Little London in Westmoreland. So we're going now to Wednesday, where there was a major twist of the story where the mummified remains were found inside the home. The senior citizen, Viola Destin, had reportedly been dead since December 2023. A woman described as her caregiver, 54-year-old Gina Robinson, has been hit with several charges relating to Destin's death. But as we hear in this report from George, the police investigation has resulted in a second woman being charged and has also found evidence to contradict claims made to the media by the family of Viola Destin.
So, where to start with what's undoubtedly one of the most bizarre news stories ever reported by local media? Firstly, the second person to be charged in relation to the death of Viola Destin is 49-year-old Laverne Wedderburn, an unemployed woman of Sheffield District in Westmoreland. Nationwide News understands that Miss Destin was on the streets of Savannah Lamar in early 2023, begging for food and money to buy food. It's understood that's where she met Laverne Wedderburn. Wedderburn reportedly took sympathy on her and decided to take her off the streets and into her home. Wedderburn then contacted Gina Robinson and discussed how best to feed Miss Destin and provide long-term shelter for her. Sources close to the investigation say the women then contacted a clergyman who was living overseas and told him of Miss Destin's plight. The clergyman reportedly agreed to send money periodically to them to care for Miss Destin. Our sources say soon after this arrangement was struck, Viola Destin became ill. That's when Gina Robinson agreed to become the primary caregiver and took Miss Destin into her home at Old Hope District, Little London in Westmoreland. An autopsy concludes that on December 10, 2023, Viola Destin died. Our sources say the women were then instructed by the foreign-based clergyman to not report the death to the authorities. They were instead told to cover the body with bed sheets and layers of plastic. They were told to place a tarpaulin on top. It's understood the women were further instructed to seal the edges of the tarpaulin with sand. The women were also told to sprinkle the makeshift tomb with a combination of household chemicals and baking soda to keep the stench down. Recall that initial reports about the discovery of Miss Destin's mummified remains said they were found by concerned relatives who went to check on her. Well, Nationwide News understands that is not so. We've been told that Gina Robinson's father went to her house on a casual visit on Sunday, July 6. It was during that visit where he stumbled upon the makeshift tomb inside his daughter's house. He's the one who's understood to have alerted the police to the horrific discovery. The police effectively exhumed Miss Destin's body after digging through the makeshift tomb. Gina Robinson has been charged with concealment of a corpse, preventing the lawful burial of a corpse, and perverting the course of justice, while Laverne Wedderburn has been charged with conspiracy. George Davis for Nationwide News.
Well, thanks, George. It's quite concerning, but it's interesting because I think there's some clarity there as it relates to whose house she was in. It should have been Gina's house. I've seen other reports stating otherwise, but she was in Gina's house.
Somebody's asking what's the cause of her death. The preliminary information that we have is that she died of, it appears, natural causes.
So late Wednesday, the Westmoreland police named Delroy Jones, who is a Jamaican pastor reportedly living in Colorado in the United States of America. The question, though, a lot of you may ask is, who is Delroy Jones? What is his role in the mummification of Miss Destin, whose remains were found in a house in Little London on July 6? Well, it appears that it was Pastor Jones to whom Miss Destin's caregivers reached out for assistance when they took the elderly woman off the streets. He reportedly agreed to periodically send them money for her care, and shortly after this arrangement was struck between, of course, the pastor and Gina and the team, Destin became ill, and an autopsy confirmed that on December 10th, 2023, she would have died. Sources said it was Jones who instructed her female caregivers not to report the death to the authorities. They were reportedly told to cover the body with, as you heard from the report with George, the bed sheets, the plastic, the tarpaulin, sealing edges with sand and using household chemicals to just mask the odor that would be in the house. Nationwide News reviewed a Facebook profile under the name Delroy Jones, and what we found was striking.
Now, in a post, and this date is very important, in a post dated December 12, 2023, and this is 2 days after the autopsy report says Miss Destin died. The autopsy report says Miss Destin died on December 10, 2023. Now, in a post dated December 12, 2023, just 2 days after Destin's death, Jones wrote, and we did screenshot those posts, and if you can come on over to our YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, we're sharing those posts with you on our YouTube channel. That post on December 12, 2023 says, "Giver of life, because of Lazarus' testimony, I'm confident in their word. We can wait up to 4 days to see the dead raised." Again, it says, "Giver of life, because of Lazarus' testimony, I'm confident in their word. We can wait up to 4 days to see the dead raised." On December 16, on the same Facebook account, a post says, we're posting that as well for you, "Apostolics of Jamaica, what is about to happen in Little London, Westmoreland, is the mighty work Jesus sent me to do." Again, Apostolics of Jamaica, what is about to happen in Little London, Westmoreland, is the mighty work Jesus sent me to do. The posts continued over the following months, including one dated April 7, 2025, and this one reads, "The sign and proof, when you see the dead raised in Little London, Westmoreland, Jamaica, then Jamaica and the rest of the world will know for certain that I," and the name is there, Delroy Jones, "am God's chosen servant." Quoting the post, "The sign and proof, when you see the dead raised in Little London, Westmoreland, Jamaica, then Jamaica and the rest of the world will know for certain that I, Delroy Jones, am God's chosen servant." End quote. Just 6 days ago, Jones posted again stating, quote, we have this one up for you as well, "Thus saith the Holy Ghost, no more morgue, no funeral home, no grave can stop the resurrection power of Jesus Christ. Just wait." End quote. So just 6 days ago, Jones posted again on this Facebook page, quote, "Thus saith the Holy Ghost, no more morgue, no funeral home, no grave can stop the resurrection power of Jesus Christ. Just wait."
So as of late Wednesday evening, Jones was still posting. The Westmoreland police are urging him to contact them immediately. He's been asked to call 876-955-2758. That's 876-955-2758. The 119 police emergency number as well. The NIB tip line is there at 811, and Crime Stop is there at 311 or the nearest police station. Members of the public as well, if you know Jones's current whereabouts, you're encouraged to share the information with the police. Meanwhile, the female caregivers, 54-year-old Gina Robinson and 49-year-old Laverne Wedderburn, they're both been charged actually in connection with Miss Destin's case. Robinson is charged with the concealment of the corpse, preventing lawful burial, and perverting the course of justice. Wedderburn, on the other hand, is facing conspiracy charges. And that, as of right now, is the chronology of the case. But if you know Mr. Jones, and if you know his whereabouts, the police in Westmoreland, they're asking that they're contacted at 876-955-2758, the 119 police emergency line, the NIB tip line of 811, and Crime Stop at 311 or the nearest police station as they investigate to get to the bottom of what was happening down there in Little London.
This is all, very concerning. There are so many questions to ask, so many answers needed, but I believe over time, as this investigation persists, those answers will come to those questions that many of you, like those in the YouTube chat, have this morning. We're going to take a break now for Across Jamaica.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is...
It's 8 o'clock.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature, brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us is...
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's Across Jamaica this morning.
In Across Jamaica this Thursday morning, a suspected car thief is in police custody while his cronies are on the run, following a shootout with the police in Mandeville, Manchester on Tuesday evening. The 3-hour incident started in Mapen, Clarendon, after a woman had her car stolen from a car wash. The vehicle was tracked to a remote area south of Mandeville, and the police were alerted. The police tried to intercept the vehicle near the town of Mandeville, but the driver sped off, hitting multiple vehicles before crashing into a utility pole near a fast food outlet on Caledonia Road. A gun battle then ensued. 2 men escaped from the vehicle, but the driver, who is believed to be the car wash attendant, was apprehended. The police believe the men had planned to use the stolen vehicle to carry out a robbery spree in Mandeville. Sub-officer in charge of the Mandeville Police Station, Inspector Simon McCormack, says the parish will not become a safe haven for criminals.
It is to note that these activities will be curtailed by the Manchester police. We have been experiencing a downward trend in criminal activities, and Manchester is no safe haven for criminals. It's also to note that the chances of eluding the police is quite minimal, as the police are actively engaged in operational activities in the space, and we are taking a zero tolerance approach to these type of activities. Once you conduct yourself in a certain way, the chances of being held is quite great. We are still encouraging residents to share the information with the police so that we can make Manchester the place to live, grow children, and do business.
Inspector Simon McCormack, sub-officer in charge of the Mandeville Police Station, and a friend of the car owner commended the police for their quick response.
Jamaican police, I have nothing bad to say about them again. The system I improved because as we call the police, them are with them for the way police, them did it with way. As of today, I have nothing bad to say about police. Police, them are do them work. Hats off to the Jamaican police. Because if they never quick respond, a key in them situation. I mean, hats off to the Jamaican police, especially the police, them in Mandeville. Hats off to them, man. God knows.
A friend of a car owner whose vehicle was stolen on Tuesday. $668 million has been approved for local film productions under the Jamaica Screen Development Initiative, JSDI. The funds, which will be disbursed shortly, will benefit 91 micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs. Addressing an MSME Linkages Day event at the University of Technology on Tuesday, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness said his administration is promoting and supporting entrepreneurs in the creative space, starting with film. He said this is a priority sector because of its inherent value to our national culture and its growth potential based on the strength of brand Jamaica. Launched in 2024, the JSDI is a $1 billion initiative that aims to support and strengthen the local film industry by providing a pool of funds for the completion of eligible screen-based projects across various stages of development. The objective is to provide opportunities for new, emerging, and established talent behind the camera to create more high-quality Jamaican content capable of competing in the global market. Finally, in across Jamaica this Thursday morning, 2 Manchester men have been charged for vandalizing 2 telecommunications service providers. Charged is a 37-year-old technician Andre Dixon, otherwise known as Jeff, of Miketown District in Pimento Hill, Manchester. Also charged is 27-year-old Odine Needham, otherwise known as Chapo or Pigeon, of Magnold Street in Longville Park, Clarendon, and Somerset in Manchester. Reports are that between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Friday, June 27, a police team acting on information visited Dixon's house. A search was conducted and 6 lithium-ion ion batteries, which were identified as properties of 2 telecommunications service providers, were found. Dixon reportedly told the police that Needham had stolen the batteries and sold them to him. He later led the police team to Needham's house. Both men were taken into custody. Following a question and answer session, they were charged with receiving stolen property and conspiracy to receiving stolen property. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Thursday morning.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, turning our attention now to the National Irrigation Commission and its celebration of 38 years of work and legacy. Now, the National Irrigation Commission, NIC, is celebrating 38 years. An agency of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, the NIC was established in 1986 and became operational in May 1987. The commission obtained its authority from the Irrigation Act 1949, which makes provision for the utilization of water available for the irrigation of special areas in Jamaica and for the conservation and use of subterranean water for purposes incidental to or connected with that purpose. The NIC's main objectives are to manage, operate, maintain, and expand existing and future irrigation schemes and systems as may be established by the Government of Jamaica. For more on the National Irrigation Commission's contribution to the agricultural sector, we're being joined by the Acting Chief Executive Officer of the National Irrigation Commission Limited, Rohan Stewart. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Tanya. Good morning. Thank you for having us.
And thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. So let's begin here, Rohan. If you could say how the National Irrigation Commission contributed to Jamaica's agricultural sector over these past 38 years and what the impact has been on the country's food security and economic growth.
Okay. So the NIC, as you have mentioned, we are celebrating our 38th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So over the past 38 years, we have taken over the responsibility of providing irrigation service to our customers, farmers in particular. And we have moved from a situation where we were supplying water to particularly the large sugarcane holdings in St. Catherine and Clarendon and some areas in St. Thomas, to now we have gone to expanded area in 8 parishes where we now provide water for the most part through pipes to our customers.
Mm-hmm.
So we have been able to allow them to produce despite the drought or dry conditions that prevail, and to be able to have a consistent supply of agricultural produce and animals for the Jamaican consumer and certainly for export. So the NIC has been able to provide that support, that background, that strength, so that farmers will be able to produce, especially when they don't have adequate supply of water from rainfall or other sources that they normally depend on.
And Rohan, for those not familiar with the NIC, give us a typical day out there, NIC operations. What does that look like?
Okay, so we have systems all over these parishes, and we have the adequate staff who will be able to operate these systems. So we produce water. We get water from 2 sources, the river or from wells.
Yes.
And then we channel that water. In the St. Catherine area, we have 2 systems, the canal system, and we also have the pipe system, the pressurized systems as we call it.
Mm-hmm.
So we will produce the water, convey it to our customers, and deliver it to what we call the farm gate, where the customer is, and then the farmer will utilize that. We have a network of officers in the field who interact with the farmer to determine how much water they will need, when they will need it, and then we provide that water based on that need. So that is a typical day. We collect the data, and we collect a significant amount of data, the amount of water the customer uses, the amount of water we produces, and then we generate an invoice at the end of the month, which the customer will pay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, as the NIC celebrates its 38th anniversary, how has the NIC changed between when you started and where you are now?
Well, we have a significant change. When we started, we used to just produce water. But in terms of the accountability, in terms of the concern for the environment, in terms of the energy-saving initiatives and so on, those things, we did them, but we are more scientific and technological now.
Mm-hmm.
So when we started, a lot of our pumping facilities or a lot of our production facilities did not have, say, water meters. Now we know exactly how much water we are producing on a minutely or hourly basis. At that time as well, when we started, the customer would come into our offices. Now the customer can interact with us from wherever part of the world they are through our different social media and web facilities that we have. We have utilized technology in terms of more efficient technologies. We are producing some energy for augmenting what we get from JPS. So there's a significant change. The caliber and quality of our workers have also increased significantly. So there has been a significant change over time.
And can you share some examples of NIC's, the community engagement initiatives and the impact on local communities, including farmers and rural residents?
Okay. So we meet with our customers on a regular basis where we have farmers engagement. We sometimes partner with other stakeholders in terms of the Ministry of Agriculture, RADA, and input suppliers. But we just meet with our customers. We also have opportunities where we go into the community, like on Labor Day, we go into the community and we partner with them. Recently, we're at a school in South St. Elizabeth, putting in an irrigation system for them, which they were very thankful for.
Yes.
So these are some of the initiatives. We also involve ourselves with things like the Pink Run, Sigma Run, those type of activities that will help to highlight that NIC is not just only concerned about delivering water to our customers, but we are concerned about our health and safety of not only our customers, but Jamaicans in general.
Any expansion plans on the horizon?
Yes, we do have some expansion plans. Just last week we heard about the Pedro Plain irrigation scheme, expansion scheme, and then we have some pre-investment projects that we are working on. The Lucky Hill Pen, the Yallas West, Lennox, Lower Leighton, and Einstone. Lucky Hill Pen is in St. Mary, Yallas West is in St. Thomas, Lennox, Lower Leighton is in Portland, and Einstone is in St. Anne. So we're working on those projects, and in the next couple of years, these projects would have gone through the whole project development phase to be able to bring those projects into implementation.
Now, Rowan, news came out yesterday from the Met Service that parts of the country being affected by drought is in drought. How does the NIC support farmers at this time?
Okay, thank you for that question, Tana. The NIC, for the farmers that we have infrastructure, areas that we have infrastructure, those we have a system to deal with those. So I'll tell you about that quickly. We can extend the hours of our pumping and delivery system so we can provide water for a longer period for those farmers. For those areas where it is not possible to extend the system because we might not have enough capacity, we have a scheduling system where we will schedule farmers to get water on whether daily or hourly basis. The other system that we have for those persons who are on the fringes of our current system, we have water filling stations. We actually have 9 of them now, and persons can purchase water, collect the water in trucks, and take it to their establishment. We also operate 5 water trucks, particularly in St. Elizabeth, 4 in St. Elizabeth and 1 in Trelawney, where we provide that water service or deliver water service to the customers. So we understand that we have also partnered with the Ministry of Agriculture to procure irrigation kits to be able to help farmers as well. And we would have started that process already, so that now that the drought or the dry period is coming on, those farmers would have been setting up their systems to be able to benefit from conserving water by utilizing drip irrigation to be able to produce produce for the country and indeed for their families.
And you said that the NIC, it pulls water from like rivers,
yes,
and streams,
wells.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Not so much for the wells, because those are so to
For
be
the
affected,
rivers,
but the rivers that the NIC normally pulls water from.
Okay.
Are you seeing any changes in the levels or anything like that, as we recognize that we're in a drought in sections of the country?
Well, at this time, we're not seeing any significant effect. There is some reduction. So here, like Bengal in Chilon, where we pump water from a river, there we see the reduction, but it has not started to affect our ability to serve our customers. So yes, we are seeing the reduction in most of the systems in terms of the surface systems, but it is not impacting our ability to supply customers with water at this time.
Okay. A final one before we let you go, Rohan. 38 years, the NIC planning any particular functions or initiatives to mark the anniversary?
No. Well, what we did was on Sunday gone, we had a church service, and we had yesterday we had a courtesy call on our pensioner farmer employees, and then on Friday of this week we will have a get together for our current staff to say thank you. But we intend to have that bigger function on our 40th anniversary.
A good way to go, though, thanking those who have contributed to the NIC, being employed there and doing what they need to do for agricultural sector. Rohan Stewart is the acting chief executive officer there at the National Irrigation Commission, talking to us this morning about the work they do, very important work they do over there at the NIC as they mark 38 years of work, and speaking to the legacy of the organization. Ron, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Okay, thank you very much, Tanya, and have a great day.
You too. Going to take a break here on NTM and come back with more.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:20.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The Temperature by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside is
29 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 29 out west in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville, 26 degrees Celsius.
Data Protection Matters is brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
This is Data Protection Matters, powered by Design Privacy, and I'm your host, Chuka Emeka Cameron. Over the last 3 episodes or so, you may have become a little overwhelmed because we were dealing with a very technical aspect of your DPIA. Why? All data controllers are required to do a DPIA and file a DPIA by the end of March next year. Well, that's what the law says. The Information Commissioner hasn't yet indicated if this is indeed so. March came this year and went, and she had postponed the requirement to file your DPIAs. I don't want us to just focus on meeting that statutory compliance deadline. A DPIA goes further than that. Conducting a DPIA is actually how businesses put themselves in a position to protect their customers. A data protection impact assessment is actually how a business or government agency puts themselves in a position to minimize the risks that they expose their employees or customers to. it is more than just a compliance exercise. The risk register that we have been speaking about, that we have gone into some level of detail, allows the organization to take those risks that have been identified and just put yourself in a position to simply track them, monitor them, assign responsibility to an individual, and ensure that it gets done. If it is, you find would have attempted to do so, or even if you find the whole idea of doing this overwhelming, not to worry. We have invested a lot of time and a lot of energy in building out solutions that automate the entire process. So regardless of whether or not you are trained as a data protection officer, regardless of whether or not you're an attorney, regardless of whether or not you are trained in risk, we have taken all of our experience, all the training that we have received, all the feedback in working with various risk managers in various organizations of various sizes. We have put that all into a mix and built out our special tool just for you that takes away all the technicality, all the mystery, and most importantly, all the pain in getting this done. I will confess, were I not in the business of helping organizations comply with data protection, I don't know how I would have been able to comply myself as an organization, because on the face of it, it can sound overwhelming. Is it necessary? Yes, it is necessary. So, if you would like to see a demonstration of our privacy risk register and how it helps make your life simple, do join us on June 26 at 3:30 p.m. Just go to our website at www.designprivacy.io, where we will not only go through our framework of how to build out and manage your privacy risks, not only will we give you the tools necessary in terms of that Excel sheet, but we'll also demonstrate the software tool that we have developed to make your life easier. This is Chuka Emeka Cameron, your host for today, and we'll see you next week. Walk good.
Data Protection Matters was brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for ground transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or a small group? Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip. Because Island people take better care of you.
Need reliable security for your business? Dual Protective Security is the perfect choice, providing round-the-clock security solutions and customer support. Our security experts will work with you to create customized solutions that fit your needs and budget. Contact us today and enjoy the peace of mind you deserve with their unbeatable security services. Dual Protective Security. Call 876-676-6987 or 876-415-4564.
Teach your kids smart money habits starting now. Open a student saving account on the spot. Enjoy financial literacy games and get budgeting tips just in time for the new school year. It's all at the nationwide 90FM Back to School Fair, where families get real value. Saturday, August 9, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. It's the nationwide 90FM Back to School Fair.
in to Cliff Hughes Online Thursday, July 17 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Special Entrepreneurship Grants Presentation Ceremony at 61 Hagley Park Road. Through the Local Economic Development Support Program, over $10 million will be awarded to 250 grassroots entrepreneurs in sectors such as health and wellness, food and agro-processing, art, craft, fashion, and more. Join us as we celebrate Jamaica's entrepreneurial spirit during Cliff Hughes Online Thursday, July 17 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Special Entrepreneurship Grants Presentation Ceremony. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Social Development Commission.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The Jamaica Labour Party Area Council 1 presents Central Kingston Choose Jamaica public meeting this Sunday, July 25 p.m. at the intersection of Hitchin and Great George's Street in Almond Town. Deputy Leader Desmond McKenzie and host Member of Parliament Donovan Williams will be on the road with champion MPs Darrell Vaz, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, Delroy Chuck, Delroy Williams, Dwayne Smith, Senators Abka Fitz-Henley, Shireen Golding Campbell and others. Come hear messages of substance as the Jamaica Labour Party's mission to improve lives is active and strong. Choose Jamaica public meeting this Sunday, 5 p.m. in Almond Town, Central Kingston. No worry. Impact boss Donovan Williams understands. Donovan cares. No sell out to him thing. We choose Jamaica.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The time by Grace Good Move is...
It's 7:30. We're back with you. It's Nationwide this morning. It's actually 8:30. I'm living in the past, it seems, Jermaine, and we're turning our attention to one of my favorite segments at 8:30. It's Tax and You. The focus is a very important topic. I think this is one that a lot of us are excited about. Well, I'm excited about it. I hope you're excited about it too. The new electronic motor vehicle registration certificate. Now, we've heard a lot coming out about this new certificate in keeping with the Road Traffic Amendment Act 2025, effective Monday, July 21st, 2025, which is next week, Monday. TAJ, Tax Administration of Jamaica, will begin exclusively issuing the new Electronic Motor Vehicle Registration Certificate. EMVRC is the name of it, or the acronym as it were. In light of this, physical copies of MVRCs, decals or stickers will no longer be issued by TAJ. So for those people that have the 6-7 stickers, Jermaine, that won't be the case for the future. You won't have those 6, 7, 8 stickers that you see running down and you never use the razor to take them off. Yeah, they're going to fix that. Additionally, under this new regime, the validity periods for the EMVRC will expand from the usual 6 months or 1 year to now also include an option for 2 years depending on the motorist's preference. I think that was also announced in some budget presentations earlier this year. To facilitate the new EMVRC process being implemented, the current online process will end today, Thursday, July 17th, 2025 at 5 p.m. This means customers will not be able to access the MVRC online service from then until the new system is rolled out. For more on this, we're joined by Chief Corporate Communications Officer at the TAJ, Maris Houghton. Good morning, Maris.
Good morning, and good morning to your listeners. And I like how you introduced that is exciting times ahead.
Yes, it's because I'm excited. You know, the excitement really starts from my own experience, and I think it's going to just go out to all the listeners and viewers over on YouTube. So tell us a little bit more about the EMVRC and how exactly does it work?
Sure. So come Monday morning, as you say, the 21st of July, that is when the new regime kicks in. where there'll be no more stickers or decals. Also, there'll be no more, that certificate that you also got on that secure paper. There's two things you'd have gotten. The decal and the certificate that you put in your pouch in your car. So no longer will you be getting anything like that. No more printing.
So nothing in my pouch? I don't need to have a pouch anymore? That's what you're saying?
Well, you can actually, if you so choose, you can print the electronic one that you'll be able to generate yourself. So how does it work? So if you're coming into office, you will come in and then must adhere that person need to have an email address to do the transaction. So you must come to the cashier with an email address. It doesn't have to be yours. It could be somebody, your daughter, your son, your mother's own, but an email address that you have access to. You have to have that to start the process. So you do that. You will get your receipt as usual. Once the transaction is complete, you'll get that receipt as usual. You'll get an email. So that's one of the reasons for the email. You'll get an email sent to you that will advise you how to generate your own certificate if you so choose. And that will be, you will do that on our website, which is www.jamaicatax.gov.jn. You go into what we call the certificate generation service, a portal that has been designed both for the EMVRC as well as the e-fitness, because the fitness will also have become digital. The fitness certificate will also become digital as of July 21. So that's one of the major changes. The other major change that we have, as you mentioned, is that persons will have additional option now in terms of how long you want to register your vehicle for. Currently, you can do it for 6 months or 1 year, but come Monday, when you do your renewal or your registered vehicle, you can opt to also do it for 2 years, which means you don't have to be doing it as often. So if I could give an example of a typical registration, most cars are 1,200 cc to up to maybe 3,000 cc. So the cost for registration of a vehicle of that size is $12,600 for a year. Right now, you have the option of doing it for 6 months, so that cost will be half of it, which is $6,300. Or you can now, with the new regime, opt to do it for 2 years. So it will be twice the cost of the 12 months. So it will be $25,200. So those are the options that persons will have under the new. In terms of the online, and you sound like you're an online person like myself.
Yes.
Right.
That's where the excitement is, really.
Yes, man, the excitement is so great in that regard, because we currently now have a motor vehicle registration online mechanism that you can go on, you register your vehicle using our online platform, but you would still have had to come to one of 6 select offices to pick up the sticker and the certificate. Even though we had administratively made it a quick window that you could do that, you still had to visit a tax office to pick up the document.
Right.
Fast forward to Monday, where no longer will you need to have any documents in relation to what will be issued. You can do it will be a true online processing for renewals. And renewal here currently is just renewal of private motor vehicles, or what we call the white plate vehicles. So you can do that. No need to come into office to pick up anything. You send you a notification. You can go onto the website to generate your own certificate. You can save it. You can print it if you want. And remember now with the new, you don't have to provide it to the police anymore. Based on the changes, because the police will be able to use their Smart Check app to actually validate if your car is registered, if your car is fit, or if your car is insured.
You sure they can use the app? Because sometimes when police stop me, it's the sticker they look on first. So that would have to be some major sensitization with the JCF to ensure that.
And they are doing that on their side.
Okay,
we're
good
doing,
stuff.
This whole thing is being done as a collaboration between a number of partner agencies, Island Traffic Authority, the JCF, ourselves are the main players in respect of this. and we are in fact working together collaboratively. So the same certificate, that portal that has been designed, that's the same place where persons will be able to also generate their fitness once they renew their fitness. Because similarly, there'll be no more fitness certificate come Monday. So it can also be done on the platform where you can generate it, keep it. You can print it for your own peace of mind. You can print it and still keep it in your car document folder. That's fine. But that's not what the police will be using. The police will be using their Smart Check app to verify if you are in fact registered, your car is certified fit, or your car have insurance. So that's it. Because the law has now been changed come Monday, that it will not be an offense not to have the printed document. So it's really exciting times.
Because that of course would have been some issues. I can talk about myself more than anybody else, because sometimes you have some issues where I've had one issue before where a police officer was saying to me, "No, I must have the printed copy." And I was like, "No, I have pictures of it."
The law at the time, the law requires that.
Right.
The law has been amended.
But
that it will not be a breach for you not to have the printed document.
But the
problem, you'll walk with your document, and anything can go awry. So it may suit you to have it, but you won't be an offense not to have it.
Right.
That's right.
And that's absolutely important as it relates to that legislative change.
Understand that.
Because I've been in a situation before where because if you know that the policemen have this app that they can use, or this device that they can use to check the car, to check everything that's happening, it is counterproductive, and I'm glad the legislators saw that for you, for you to have your physical thing and then they can check it and everything. Because I had a back and forth once with the officer, which eventually turned out well enough for me. But I was like, what if other people aren't articulating it the way that, hey, it's common sense, you can check this. If I'm not in breach, then I'm not in breach. And the fact that the legislation now is changed, and as of Monday, people can expect that the officers would have to just check on their system and say, hey, this is the case. That would really save time and save some people from having that back and forth that they usually have. So is there anything else we want to tell our listeners about it?
Yes. So to allow us to put the system in place for Monday, there are certain things that I want to just advise persons of. One, that the current online system will be taken offline at 5 p.m. today. So no online will be available until Monday, online for the motor vehicle registration. And none of our offices will be open to the public on Saturday. Because you understand that some of our select offices are open on a Saturday. But none of the offices will be open this Saturday, including Portmore. And this is to allow for the cutover activities, so that come Monday morning will be within the new. And also, persons can get more information from our website. We currently have an electronic motor vehicle registration information hub available on our website, where there are a number of frequently asked questions. So persons can go on, review those questions. They can also reach out to our customer care center at 888-829-4357. And again, the website is www.jamaicatax.gov.jm, where they can get the frequently asked questions, and we have other information that's available there. We continue to put additional information there, and that is also the site. There will be a link in there where persons will be able to generate their electronic motor vehicle registration certificate come Monday.
So Monday is the big day. Monday is the big day for change.
The exciting day.
That's wow. Thank you for joining us, Maurice Houghton. This is good stuff. It's good to hear that we're going along this train in 2025 and digitizing. Yeah. Thank you. All right, that's it for Tax on You. We were talking with Maurice Houghton, the chief in charge of corporate communications there. And I'm sure that, there are questions, there are more questions, but the THA will continue to answer these questions as we move towards this this e-system for you to get your motor vehicle registration. EMVRC is what it's called, and also your e-fitness. So all those things are very important things for you to know and to know about how you go about it. Remember as well, you need to have your email address ready, whether it's yours, whether it's a family member. If you don't have it yet, set it up. If you can have somebody help you to set it up, that would be good as well, because it's also the expectation. And as Mary said, there's a collaborative approach. There's a collaborative approach between the TAJ and the JCF, and the system that the JCF has should have all that information. So no officer can tell you as of Monday, July 21st, that you are in breach if you do not have your physical motor vehicle registration or your physical motor vehicle fitness. No officer can tell you that as of Monday. That is the law. You are hearing it here on Nationwide this morning. That is what the legislators would have changed. You don't have to have your physical registration or your physical fitness. For some persons who want peace of mind so as to not have any contention back and forth or conversation, you can still print it once it's emailed to you. It's up to you whether or not you want to print and carry it, but it is not illegal for you not to have it. And that's a very important piece of information. So we're going for a break, and after this we'll have your birthdays.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The Jamaica Labour Party Area Council 1 presents Central Kingston Choose Jamaica public meeting this Sunday, July 25 p.m. at the intersection of Hitchin and Great George's Street in Allman Town. Deputy Leader Desmond McKenzie and host Member of Parliament Donovan Williams will be on the road with champion MPs Darrell Vaz, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, Delroy Chuck, Delroy Williams, Dwayne Smith, Senators Abka Fitz-Henley, Shireen Golding Campbell and others. Come hear messages of substance as the Jamaica Labour Party's mission to improve lives is active and strong. Choose Jamaica public meeting this Sunday, 5 p.m. in Allman Town, Central Kingston. No worry. Impact boss Donovan Williams understands. Donovan cares. No sellout twinting. We choose Jamaica.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:45.
Now that she's back in the atmosphere with drops of Jupiter in her head. She acts like summer and walks like rain. Reminds me that there's a time to change. Since the return of her stay on the moon, she listens like spring and she talks like June. Well, tell me, did you sail across the sun? Did you make it to the Milky Way to see the lights all faded and that heaven is overrated? Tell me, did you fall from a shooting star, one without a permanent scar, and then you missed me while you were looking for yourself out there? between 10 and 20, and I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. I'm 22 for a moment, and she feels better than ever, and we're on fire, making our way back from Mars. 15, there's still time for you, time to buy and time to lose. 15, there's never a wish better than this, when you only got 100 years to live.
It's now time for your birthdays. I'm seeing Annie Smith sending what would have been the birthday of Junior Biles, of course, Kenneth Biles, a Jamaican conscious roots reggae singer, going all the way back. You know, conscious music. Another nickname for him was Chubby, and King Chubby. He would have passed this year, May 15th, but he was one of the foundational reggae artists, roots reggae artists from back in the day. Would have been his birthday today. But what do we have here on the chat? As well as I am getting to understand that it's Sandra Golden's birthday, and Sandra Golden is the wife of the opposition leader. It's her birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Wishing for you a wonderful day.
Alright, who else do I have here? Birthday blessings to a dedicated teacher, Stacian McLeod Cox of Polyground, Linstead, who is celebrating today. Have an amazing day. Enough love coming from the Hiltons family in Whitewater Meadows. Very happy birthday to you, Stacian McLeod Cox.
Donna Llewellyn sending happy birthday greetings to Sis Ione Robinson, aka Bright Eye of Newfield. Happy birthday to you. Donna is saying enough birthday. It was yesterday, so belated happy birthday to you, Ione Robinson. Wishing for you more love, more blessings from Sis Donna and the crew. Who else is celebrating a birthday today? Over on Facebook, we have some friends celebrating their birthday. London, Paris, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well to Richard Green, Andreen Harriet, Dana Chen, Natasha Terrell, Janita King, Asa Lewis, Derek McDonald, Tiffany Jade Freckleton, Susie Gordon, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. And Sanjay Smith, it's your birthday today. Sanjay Coppershot Fame FM, he has in the middle here on his Facebook page. So Sanjay, happy birthday to you. Wishing for you a wonderful day as well. Who else is celebrating a birthday today? Do let us know so that we can shout you out.
But lately I've been doing better than the last 4 cold Decembers I recall. And I see my family every month. I found a girl my parents love. She'll come and stay the night, and I think I might have it all. And I thank God every day for the girl he sent my way. But I know the things he gives me, he can take away. And I hold you every night.
C. Hilton saying.
I got that one.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay, very well.
Gordon Dixon. I'm here. It's your birthday. No, they responded in a message just now, so I read it. So when you said it, I was like, no, I got that one. Gordon Dixon, it is your birthday. Wishing you a very, very happy birthday today. And Angela Jones is saying happy birthday to Desreen Kelly, coming from your entire family. And she's saying she loves you, baby girl.
So today is the birthday, a very special birthday. Greetings going out to Janice Simpson, Hey to you, Janice. Good morning. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Janice from Rosal, my neighborhood there in St. Elizabeth. Happy birthday, Janice. Wishing for you a wonderful day.
Happy birthday to Scafford. Wishing him all the best. Coming from Gwendolyn Bennett Brooks. Very happy birthday to you. And there's another one here going out to Michael Francis, aka Pooh, in Portmore. And that's coming from Jamaican View by Robert C. Gray. Wishing you a very happy birthday there.
Carlene Smith, my friend, is sending happy birthday greetings to Angela Jones's daughter, Desreen Jones Kelly. Desreen, it's your birthday, your big day. Happy birthday to you, Desreen Jones Kelly. Wishing for you a lovely day. Erica Bennett sending happy birthday greetings to Yvonne Campbell, a retired inspector. Happy birthday to you, Yvonne Campbell. Wishing for you a lovely day as well.
Happy birthday to Andrew from Rio Nueva Beach, St. Mary. Have a blessed day. And that's coming from Arlene. I think that's all the time we have for birthdays. And that, of course, was a birthday segment. If you celebrated today, July 17th, 2025, I'm wishing you a very special birthday greeting. And, of course, if it is your anniversary, we wish you a very happy anniversary as well. Now that's it for our birthdays.
I met you in the dark, you lit me up, you made me feel as though I wasn't off. We danced the night away, we drank too much. I held your hair back when you were throwing up. Then you smiled over your shoulder. For a minute I was stone cold sober. I pulled you closer to my chest, and you asked me to stay over. I said I already told you, I think that you should get some rest. I knew I loved you then, but you'd never know. 'Cause I played it cool and I was scared of letting go. I knew I needed you, but I never showed. But I wanna stay with you until we're grown old. Say you won't let go. Just say you won't let go. I'll wake you up with some breakfast in bed. I'll bring you coffee with a kiss on your
I don't know why Mr. King would have chosen this one. But what I will say is that nationwide this morning, we won't let go of you, our listeners. So always stick with us. Yeah, I think we have a final one here wishing happy birthday to Marvelyn Latty Russell from her cousin. She's living in the US, so we're just wishing Marvelyn Latty Russell our final birthday there, coming from Javon Dwa. Wishing you a very happy birthday.
Did you see this one, Patrick Rowe?
No, I didn't see that one.
Belated happy birthday greetings going out to Patrick Rowe, or YouTuber. Hope you had a lovely one.
Well, that's all the time we have for our show this morning. Of course, Kimon Thompson, our super editor, Michelle McCray Smith, our super producer, and Jermaine King, our musical maestro right here in studio. That is indeed all the time we have, as Lisa K. Williams is wishing happy birthday to her co-worker Miss Ricketts from the staff of CMSS. That's all the time. I'm Sondre Rodan.
I'm Tona Thomas.
Good morning.
Waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar. And I know I gave it to you months ago.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
But between the drinks and subtle things, the holes in my apologies, you know, I'm trying hard to take it back. So if by the time the bar closes and you feel like falling down, I'll carry you home tonight.